Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, yeah, if you're wondering about, the presentation this morning, we're taking it down a notch. After all, the French president took it down a number of notches yesterday when he appeared in a white shirt with rolled up sleeves, and that was because he was at Africa Shrine, the base of the Kutis, starting off with the patriarch of that Kuti line, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. The French president had come into town, had been in Abuja, met with the president, gone through all the protocols, but it seemed that a large part of what was on his mind was his visit, if not pilgrimage, his visit to Africa Shrine. You know by now, of course, that when the French president was a young man, he was a young diplomat in Abuja, and he has fond memories. He has fond memories. There's the president, all the full protocol. I think that's in Abuja. Yep, that's in Abuja being received. Oh, that's actually the shrine. Sorry about that. That's not how we thought. But so it started off from there. But it was always on Emmanuel Macron's mind that he had to visit the shrine, and it was all in the context of launching the Africa Culture Season that France is going to be heavily involved in, and that's going to be in 2020. There's another aspect of it that will be launched today, subsequently. But his visit yesterday. My guests this morning, Mr. Femi Esho, he's chairman, Evergreen Musical Company Limited. Well, as it is built, Africa's greatest custodian of music of yesteryears. And he, of course, things like Fela's complete works, have always been available from that side. Then there's Malam Abdul Okwechime, media consultant and Fela researcher. It's like a walking encyclopedia of all things Fela. And of course, Egmont, Femi Esho, I mean, when it comes to that, he doesn't need to wake on. It's all there. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. Now, where did all this start? The relationship with France and the relationship of France with, the Kutis, starting off with the patriarch of the family, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Well, it goes back more than 3.5 decades. In fact, we dug up from YouTube a performance of Fela Anikulapo Kuti 3.5 decades ago in France. We'll come back and begin to talk about the modern days Kutis. The French president was saying that, you might not know it, but between Fela, Femi, and Seun Kuti, these guys are big. They're huge in France. And I just knew that couldn't come to Nigeria and not visit here. Now, here's Fela about 34 years ago, in particular in 1984, playing in France.
Say, yeah, yeah. Right. All of us to the first election, and the second election all in Nigeria. And the second election, like it was a pass. Babala nonsense. He passed the rigging. He passed corruption. Be this Babala nonsense. Babala nonsense. People not go vote. Them come get big numbers. Thousands to thousands. Millions to millions. Be this Babala nonsense. Babala nonsense. Na demokire si di dati. Na demokire si di dati. Kuti shasi demokire si. Bumbuchi na oyibo ti shi hot. Na oyibo for Europe. Oyibo teach many, many things. Many of them things I don't sing about. Me I no good to copy Oyibo style. Let us think say Oyibo no pass me. But Shagari finish him in elections. But them not tell him say he make mistake. Say this you no be democracy. Oyibo them not tell myself that for England I mean not fit take over. I come think about this democracy, 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 crazy demonstration of crazy, crazy demonstration.
So that there is the Afrobeat legend, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, going back, performing 34 years ago in France. As you can see, he's a musician, he was an activist as well, and he had his, in fact, he was known as the Black President. Well, a president visits the Africa Shrine, sort of paying homage to all of that. Back in the day when President Macron was a young diplomat, you know, that's the kind of thing that he said he was no stranger to the shrine. He actually knew the shrine. He must have enjoyed the shrine, and coming back now, you know, he wanted to be there. Femi Asho, it goes back to those times. Did you, by any chance, first of all, let's go to yesterday. Let's go to yesterday. What kind of a, because yesterday the president, the French president was there, Femi Kuti, evidently very well known to him from the way they both related. In fact, I understand that right now Femi is on the way to meet with President Macron. We'll probably, you know, we'll get Femi's voice on the program, as well as YK, his sister, who is also known to TVC viewers because of her program, Your View, that goes out on this station as well. Give me a sense of what it was like yesterday at the shrine.
Let me start by giving some accolades to the wonderful president who came to Nigeria. Not, you know, be a year president too. I mean, president
it's probably seen by a lot of people now as a right guy.
Yes, you know, at least rulers of the world, you know. Actually, I saw a human being yesterday, that is Mr. Macron. His simplicity cannot be quantified. And I was shocked when he shook me and said, long time. I said, but boy, I wish it was my left hand. I would have...
Make sure you don't watch it for a long time.
For 2 years, I will leave it. That's a complete gentleman. And I want to give accolades to African creative industries for having that initiative of making what happened yesterday happened. And of course, to the wonderful children Fela left behind.
Exactly.
The
president paid homage to them.
Yes.
Femi.
Yes.
Yeni.
Yes.
Sheung.
Because there are a lot of musicians, particularly in Nigeria, that have died, and their music have died with them because they don't have formidable children.
But these ones are keeping the flag flying.
And lastly, to the amiable governor of Lagos State.
Indeed.
I never knew he was a beautiful dancer. I never knew. And,
by the way, Lagos State has been honoring Fela's legacy.
Yes, I know.
As we would say, not be today.
Yes, you know, although me and him still have certain things to sort out together. So, yesterday was marvelous. Very, very, it was a full house, entirely full house.
And that's kudos to the Lagos State government that hosted.
Yes.
Lagos State hosted, you know,
that's
on behalf of the country.
That's why I say...
on behalf of the continent itself.
Yes, that's why I say I give kudos to Ambode. Good dancer, but the young president almost beat him to it.
You know, switching over to you, Malam Abdul Okweteme, I was referring to the fact that, look, Fela being, you know, honored, you know, by the French president and are hosting him at the shrine. It's the relationship with Lagos State that it's been quite a long time that Fela has been recognized as an icon, a cultural icon by the Lagos State government. And this goes back to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's time as governor of Lagos. You being a researcher, I'm sure you're well aware of that. We'd like to speak about that. That it goes back to Tinubu was the first official figure to put Fela and his everything, his whole culture, his whole everything up on a pedestal.
Yes, if you look back at even the present shrine, it was when Bola Tinubu was the governor that land was given to Femi to purchase to build the shrine. And at the launch, that was in October 15, 2000, when that shrine was opened, his wife represented him at that
Senator Oluremi Tinubu, yes. But she was not
senator then, she was first lady of Lagos. So she represented him at that event. So that had dated back since when Fela was being immortalized. And then it now grew. So the visits of Macron yesterday to the shrine vindicated so many things. Not only did they vindicate all what Fela stood of, but they vindicated those successive Lagos State government who had stood behind that dream.
Stood firm.
Because Macron on stage, one of the statements he made was that he had known that is Fela's music based on the way he fought, and he had followed Femi Kuti's music, and he had concluded that as humans, you can stand. So as humans, you can stand firm on your belief and principles and define your life. It was a fundamental statement. He said it took from those two people, that's Fela and Femi, that as human beings, you can stand on your principle and define your own life. And this had come to stay. He said back in the days, he had always wished to come back to the shrine because when he was in Nigeria, he attended it, the shrine. So it was an opportunity waiting.
Just waiting to happen.
And when he came to Nigeria, when he grabbed it, and they didn't suggest to him, he requested to be hosted there. And as a matter of fact, during the preps for the preparations for that event of yesterday, there were times during meetings when Femi had suggested that for him, he had that plan to redecorate the shrine, paint it all over. The team from France said, no, our president wants to see it the natural way. So he meant so many things to him, apart from the fact that reconnecting with Fela's music.
But nevertheless, I mean, Macron is a president, a highly respected one, and he was visiting, and there are going to be preparations.
Yes.
The whole axis, that whole axis was, it was differently regulated yesterday. With as little disruption as possible, but the fact that a president was in town and wanted to be there, the traffic was being diverted. All Lagos State, agencies, traffic agencies were there, and as far as I was concerned, it didn't cause that much of a disruption, which must be kudos again to those agencies in Lagos State.
Yeah.
So this was taken as something very, very seriously. We'll be hearing, as I said, from YK, Ieni Kuti. Later on, she'll be calling in, as well as Femi himself, Femi Kuti. I don't know if the Anikulapo name, was that a Fela property? Or is
they sign it.
They still sign Anikulapo
Kuti. It's just because, when they are on tour like that, when Femi, don't forget, Femi became popular, not like his father. He was first received from outside Nigeria.
Okay, yeah.
He had issues of selling his music here because Fela was still alive.
Yeah.
Back in the days, so it was a big battle. But
even though Fela was very, very supportive, I recall vividly that Fela was at the
loved
launching.
him.
Fela
He
was
loved
actually
him.
at the launch of Femi's band.
Yes.
You remember?
Of course.
You know,
of course,
back in the day.
of course.
But you see, what the man stood for, what Fela uncompromisingly stood for was justice, you know, fair play. He had his own bohemian way, to be sure.
We all had our ways,
you know,
or have our ways.
Yes, he had his own bohemian way.
Well,
but
it was very natural.
Yes,
you know.
well, that put it like that.
Yes,
it was very,
very
natural. He expressed himself the way he
Doesn't
felt.
mince words, saying it as it is.
So I imagine the children that are today, you know, carrying the torch, they must be immensely proud of their father, who, quite frankly, started all of this. And now they, in their own right, as a result of their own work, are a force to reckon with as well. And so they're keeping the music. That probably speaks to the power of music. I hear musicians say over and over again that there is nothing as powerful as music.
Good music.
Well, of course.
Meaningful music.
Well, meaningful music.
Yes.
Okay, because talking about
music that have contents.
and a message.
Yes, good message. Because that's the problem we are facing now. Most of the musicians of these days, many of them cannot even play a single instrument.
Unlike the Kutis,
Fela
that are multi-instrumentalists.
Fela is an all-rounder. Either the conga, either the talking drum, either the trumpet, the saxophone, the vocalin, and everything. So, you know, Fela has really worked, and I don't think, without missing words, we can have any other musician like Fela in the whole of this Africa. Well, I didn't want to say in the whole world. Because the music is living after him, and it will continue to live after him.
Well, all the big wigs were there. You can see, is that Donald Duke?
Yes.
That's Donald Duke, who is a musician as well. And before that, we just saw Oshoba, you know. Well, when I say musician, he plays an instrument as well. You know, just like some world leaders. Remember that the former American president, the one that got in trouble with Monica Lewinsky, Mr. Clinton.
Yes.
You know, he also was a saxophonist.
Yes, he was.
You know,
just like my friend Donald Duke.
Exactly. His picture just came up, and
the whole world was there, so to speak, because all the
Was
ambassadors.
Donald Duke there yesterday?
Yes.
My God.
His picture has just been, you know, just crossed the screen.
So because all the ambassadors were there.
Of course.
And there was the France president. So what that shows that going forward, that place needs to be treated with some reference.
Well, okay.
Because now we have seen that whether we like it or not, the attention of the world is there.
It was there yesterday.
And it's now there.
It's now there. And that would not be for the first time, because the children of Fela have been hosting Felabration there, which is another world event. You know, talk to me a bit about Felabration before all of this. Felabration is an annual event.
It's an annual event. It's become global now. It started here in Nigeria about, let's say, 17 years ago by Yeni Kuti. It was her idea to remember her father's legacy, that's lifetimes and music of Fela. So every year, for a week, we have series of events starting from the schools debate that gather Lagos State secondary schools to talk about things that Fela would normally discuss about. Then we now have the symposium that we invite a lead speaker. Last year it was Professor Lumumba of Kenya that came to talk. So every year, then the musicals.
Yes, because
the musical is every day from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day.
That's part of the annual celebration. Of keeping Fela's memory alive. Usually you get Africanists, intellectuals from all over the world to come and speak on the theme of
symposium and stuff like that.
Exactly, of Africa. Yes. The French President Macron felt that, look, no better place to launch the upcoming African culture season, which is a 2020, designated for 2020, than the Africa Shrine that he knew so well and had attended. And now he said he didn't dream that he would ever come back there as a president. Let's listen to the French president.
The music place But it speaks about politics as well. I mean, referring to your father, he was not just a musician. He was as well a politician. It's the whole meaning. He was a politician because he wanted to change society. So if I have just one message for young people here in the shrine tonight, yes, politics is important. Yes, be involved. And there is no advice. Thank you, sir. Continue over to you.
Okay, a few words from the president there. He later actually took off the tie. At the moment when he was speaking there, he had his shirt sleeves rolled up.
He first started by asking Femi, can I remove my jacket? Femi said, feel free. If you want to, so he first pulled off his jacket. Then he now went his tie.
Okay, I got Yeni on the line, Yeni Kuti, his daughter, on the phone now. Hello, YK.
Hello.
Great to have you. You were there yesterday. Tell me, well, first of all, the shrine is no stranger to visitors from all over the world, but yesterday you had a president in the shrine. Tell me how you feel about that.
Hey, totally elated. I don't know. I am, in fact, I'm still basking in the euphoria. And he was such a nice person. Such a nice, friendly, and he remembered me. When I said, oh, I'm sorry, he says, I remember. Because I said, you've been to the shrine before? He said, yes, you've been to the shrine. And it was just, and you know, he was just nice. It was nice. I'm a bit excited. I'm losing my voice.
I can imagine. Yeni, tell me about the French connection. Your father, we played at the top of the show, I don't know if you saw it, a performance by your father in France in 1984.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about the French connection. And I don't know, you people were probably honorary citizens of France. Talk to me about the whole French connection.
We are not honorary citizens yet, but maybe it will make us now. But, the thing is, I think it was the French that accepted Fela's music first in the whole of Europe. The French are always open to culture.
Yes.
So that was where he had his first. His first international tour was actually in Germany for the Philharmonic Festival.
Okay.
But then subsequent tours, there was a law. Then the French, I think maybe the French had seen him in Germany, so a lot of them started coming, wanting to take him. So that was where the love affair with France and Fela started.
I hear that from President Macron, that look, you guys might not know outside in other places, but Fela, Femi, Sheung, they are big in Europe. That in Europe, these are very, very important musical items.
Yes. They are.
You can testify to that because Femi keeps on going back.
Yeah, Femi just came back from a tour in Europe 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, you know. Sheung is there right now. So, they are well known. I mean, you can't take that away from them. They're well known there, and you know, it's like what I like to say. We have kept the legacy alive. Yeah, it's not that Fela left us this legacy, then we now sat down and okay, let me just be basking in the glory of being Fela's child. No, they've kept the legacy alive. They've kept the music alive. So it's I would hate to undermine Fela's children by a lion cannot give birth to a cat.
Well said. Well said. Very well said. I was just hearing from Malam Okochume in studio here that the whole Felabration concept and idea was your brainchild.
Yes, it was. Actually, it was. You know, Fela's death was like Fela had been looking forward to his 60th birthday, which would have been in 1998. And he had been planning for his 60th birthday. And he died just before his 59th birthday. And I was like, oh, man. So that was where the dream came. Okay, let me keep him alive by celebrating his birthday. Not his death day, but his birthday. Which is how Celebration was born.
Indeed.
So the first one, it wasn't called Celebration then, was in 1998 at the TBS. And then we opened the shrine October 15, 2000 to celebrate Fela's birthday.
And now the legend lives on through his art and the work of his children.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Congratulations, Yeni. Maybe we'll get a chance to speak with Femi too, who I understand when we tried earlier was on the way to speak to visit further with the French President Macron.
Yes.
Okay then. So thank you very much for joining us, Yeni.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Yori.
Thank you very much. Bye now, catch ya. The importance of music is what we were talking about. Yes. And look, it's touched the president. Oh, our president himself, President Buhari, I think in commenting on the whole matter was saying something like, it's very good, it's very nice, it must be good because if it weren't so, alluding to some of what Yeni has just said, if it wasn't so, people would have forgotten about it, about the shrine, about the man. But the fact that it is very, very much in the minds of people is testimony to, one, the great body of work, the quality of it, and what kind of a work it was. But art generally and music generally, on the one hand, people have been there's a sense in which he paid homage, the French president paid homage to the current generation, but he was paying homage to what the legend Fela himself created, Afrobeat, and the music that his children are carrying on. There's been an opera on him, in fact, all sorts of works. Yes. Academics are writing about the work of Fela, trying to understand it.
Researchers are doing research.
He was much loved locally by, the young, but he was seen as a rebel. And those who oppressed him, thank God, they're still living. Those who oppressed him, those who were, shall we say, let it be said, a bit draconian, because Fela himself didn't really conform. He didn't conform, let it be known. He was a non-conformist. But those who, in spite of everything, today they are alive. The Fela dream, the Fela legacy is alive because of his children, wouldn't you say?
You see, Fela was a prophet, among all other things. To his credit, he had 180 tracks.
Tracks as in albums?
Yes.
Or
yes.
tracks?
Yeah. Tracks, different albums.
Okay, different albums.
Yes.
180?
Yes. Now,
89.
This is a man. If you pick a particular track, you can never see it repeated in another
somewhere else.
Different kind of concepts. Do you understand? And that's what I'm talking about music. Just like our Saul in the Bible, that whenever he's sort of weak, invite David, a soothing balm. A soothing balm. Music is a soothing balm.
Indeed.
That will call.
Could I interrupt you? Beg your pardon for doing so. Let me get Femi Anikulu Akwokuti on the line. He's on. Hello, Femi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you on air. First of all, congratulations. You and your family hosting at the shrine. And there are many people who consider themselves part of the shrine family. So congratulations, first of all, on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell me, I just finished speaking with your sister, Yeni. This was a great honor to Afrobeat and to the music of your father and the current music, because the man, the president, actually said that you guys are big in Europe. You, your father, yourself, and Sheung.
Yes, he said so. He also said he came to the shrine to watch me in 2002. And this was what really inspired him to want to come back again.
Oh, he watched you in 2002?
Yes.
He was a junior diplomat, we are told at the time.
Yes.
Both of you didn't know each other?
That was why he wanted to come back to the shrine again. And that was why he insisted he wanted to see the shrine as he saw it. He must have been 23 when he came.
Yeah, when you work out the figures.
Yes, he was about 23, and I remember at that time a lot of diplomats were coming, and they still do, but he must have come at that time. He loved the energy, and I think and he probably must have followed my career, because when I spoke to him, he mentioned a lot of this.
Okay.
He knew I had just even come back from Europe and France, so I think he follows my career.
Have you, what's the relationship between you, we hear that in Europe you guys are hot and all of that, but what's your relationship with the French music fans? Because it would look as if the president was repaying, as it were, something. I don't know. What's your relationship with the French Afrobeat fans, music fans generally?
Yeah, I think my career really started off in France, especially because when I left my father, people didn't want to listen to my music here, so I got my break really in France. So for a good 10 years, that was where I was established really. So I have a good connection there in France. My management, publishing, everything is in France. And so he probably even watched me, but the French have been very, don't forget the French love my father as well.
Exactly.
President Chirac's time. Mitterrand, President Mitterrand. And so they are really, in the 80s, the French had this cultural center, which I think this is what President Macron wants to do. The French cultural center was established to have like cultural exchanges, and this was how I got involved. So the cultural center brought some French artists here, and I was part of the exchange to go to France. And this is how I got my break in France. They saw my performance, very fast-paced music, and they loved it. It was different from my father. And so Nigerians were not ready for that kind of music at that time.
but then we came round, right?
Yes, of course. Now
we came round. Talk to me about support that the music, the art has received from officialdom in Lagos State. We carelessly refer to it as Africa Shrine. It's actually the new Africa Shrine. And that's because, it's like you replaced the old shrine when it had its issues, but all of that is a bit in history now.
Yeah, my sister and I decided to name it the New Africa Shrine because the image of the old Africa Shrine, and don't forget, they didn't let us keep that place.
Yeah.
So it was politically, we were thinking that, okay, this is a new place, let's start off again. And unfortunately for us, we still had the police, brutality, the ways and all that. And Governor Fashola at that time, towards the end of his tenure, said to recognize our efforts. Okay. I must say Governor Ambode has really solidified appreciating what we are doing, because he already came to celebration last year.
Yeah.
And we spoke, and I told him, yes, we are very critical, but we are not critical because we hate government. We are critical because we want change. We are part of this country. We want, when we are talking about poverty, it's because we want everybody to have a good time in this country. It's the right of the people and it's the right of the state or the presidency to ensure its peoples are well taken care of. So when we are criticizing, it's not because we want to just be critical. We are critical because we are concerned.
So in terms
I think we got the message that night. And
in terms of that concept, it's like you, the children, and your father are on the same page.
Definitely, we are. And President Macron and I, we spoke extensively. He loved my agenda, and he said it on stage. It's not about when our people are risking their lives through the Mediterranean, Meridian, and I'm just waking up, I'm so tired from yesterday, through the sea and through the desert. And it's not, when we think that Europe and America is heaven, that's wrong thinking for Africans, especially the youth, to think like this. What should happen is African governments and Europe should stop this corruption and stop supporting corrupt African governments and ensure that we start to build first-class institutions, first-class infrastructures for the people, and let us believe. The youth must believe and contribute positively to the development. And I gave an example, and he loved the example. What people start with, if the trains they bring here are an embarrassment, really. What the trains we want are the kind of trains I see in France that move at 370 kilometers an hour. And if we had that, imagine going from Lagos to Johannesburg. Even the sightseeing, the jobs that will be created, you give young people hope. Why would I want to go to Europe? If I want to go to Europe, it's just on holiday. But then I have not even visited the whole of Africa. So by the time I even go to Europe, my life is, I've spent a good part of my life on my continent. And that's how we should be. Africa should be the envy of the world. And he loved this idea, and he spoke about it, and we talked extensively about this. And I give another example, like just to go to Cotonou, it takes you 4 hours to cross the border, our neighboring country here. It's wrong. And these are the things that will change. And if these are things that must change, and if they don't change, is why our youths and people will keep on risking their lives. And whether Europe likes it or not, it will become problematic for them because of the history of this continent. And he did recognize the fact that we mustn't run away from this slavery history. Europe must recognize its role and be apologetic about this role. But yes, we do need to move forward.
Indeed.
And we do need to give young people the opportunity to be able to express this positive energy that he felt at the shrine when he came.
Indeed.
And it was very, he said that energy have been in his memory all this time. He wanted to feel it again at the shrine.
Indeed. Well, your music has always been defined by high energy from the very, very beginning. It's one of the main differences between that of your music and your father's music. But clear one thing up for me, Femi. You've mentioned Governor Fashola, you've mentioned Governor Ambode. Did Governor Tinubu in his own time play a part in the sort of resettling, reestablishment of the African shrine?
Governor Tinubu was one that gave us the biggest stretch in my life. He closed the place several times, and Governor Fashola wanted to proceed with this same method. But then, Governor Fashola closed it in 2008, and that was the last police raid we had, where they brought about 450 customers and flogged them on the streets. And then he closed the shrine for making too much noise, blah, blah, blah.
Wait. Who did that? I didn't catch that. Femi, go over that again. I didn't catch that. What did you say about Governor Tinubu at the time?
Yes, I said Governor Tinubu at that time, he gave us the biggest stress by police raids, harassment, closing of the shrine at that time.
I see. But,
yes,
but then things got better.
Governor Fashola started this when he came into office.
He started like that.
Back then, we started to get a lot of foreigners like Alicia Keys and many people protesting, especially at the last police raid. Because I was leaving, the last raid that happened, I was leaving, and I got all my friends in Europe and America to send letters protesting the closure of the shrine.
Okay.
Then Governor Fashola at this time now changed his mind. He came back and he built the museum.
Yeah.
Yes, so things had to change with Governor Fashola. Ambode, I must say, has really, as soon as he came into office, his first point of call was he loves what we are doing, he respects the family, and whatever Lagos State can do. So with him, we have had no police raids, and Lagos State have been, he was at celebration, they support the celebration, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, Femi, it's been great talking with you. Congratulations once again, for this historic visit. Your father was known as the Black President, but then we got a French president visiting the shrine yesterday. Thank you very much, Femi.
Thank you very much.
All right, then.
Thank you.
Interesting conversation.
Very interesting, very interesting.
And then that's Femi saying in there what Mr. Esho had also said about music or art, but including music with content.
With content.
It's all right. We've got to dance. We've got to. There's that aspect of music and the arts, the beautiful aspect of it. But then there's the message that Mr. Esho was emphasizing, and all of that is what's showing up. Quite frankly, one in the way the outside world is relating to to Fela?
You see,
let me say something.
yesterday's visit.
Okay, sorry, I'll come straight to you, Malam.
Okay.
Yesterday's visit by the president, one of the president of the greatest world powers, should be a very good lesson to our leaders here. How many of our, apart from Governor Ambode, how many governors have visited places of excitement like that before? No, but they are very busy. I'm sorry, they are very busy politicking, and which has not benefited the layman. Do you understand? Apart from Afrobeat, there are thousands of other brands of music in this country which has not been exploited. And well, many of these people are wasting away. They die in penury. They just die like that.
But it is the force. I don't want to take from anybody's art, but it's the force of the art itself that propels itself and projects itself onto your consciousness.
I agree with you. That's what I wanted to mention. I wanted to mention that different from the messages. Of course, the messages were pungent and they are, like he said, prophecies. Fela music was something you cannot push away. He was very deep.
Ignore it.
He was very deep when it came to his music. Take everything away, take all the rascality that you hear people talk about. In his music, he was a perfectionist. He never one day allowed anything to go when he came to his music. It was very detailed. Don't forget that the genre called Afrobeat, he created it. He created it out of the fact of looking into himself and evolving a music pattern that today are defied even modern day.
Okay.
Okay. People, the modern day hip hop artists wonder how he achieved on analog what digital music is struggling to achieve.
Let me take Emmanuel, who's called in from Otukpo in Benue State. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Greetings to your panelists.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. We thank God for yesterday.
Indeed.
Yesterday was a great day. And it was a very big statement. That's a confirmation that God rewards good work.
When you say it was a confirmation of a big statement, what did you mean? What did it say to you?
It's
that the French president visited the New Africa Shrine?
Good work. Fela stood, yes. Yes. Of all the presidents, one of the greatest and the strongest presidents had to come to the shrine to honor Fela Anikulapo Kuti. It's a very big plus for Nigeria. And I want to let you know that Fela stood for the masses throughout his lifetime. And his children have to be very happy about their father's status.
Indeed.
And that is what God gave to them yesterday.
Did you hear our little conversation with Femi and
Yeni? Nigerians, I remember when I was in the university in those days, that Fela came to our school, University of Ilorin. I did. So, I want three things that Nigerians can do, which will be very, very good to us, and the world will respect us for it. Three things. Thank God that Obasanjo is still alive. But Obasanjo should please swallow his pride and apologize to the family of Fela Anikulapo Kuti for what happened at Kalakuta Republic. That's one. The second is the children of Fela to continue with the light they are holding. They should not compromise. Because those of us who are his disciples, we cannot compromise his stand. Corruption and good governance, anti-corruption and good governance is what can save this country. And that is what will give us hope. And then the third thing, I want to plead with Ambode, the statue that is headless in Lagos, he should please give it a head. Because we know what that statue stands for. That is Fela's statue.
Thank you very much.
enough to put Fela's head on it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You bring up a point that has been made. You see, this is art again. art, the vision of the artist, interpretation, creativity. But many people have commented on that as, look, this headless fella self, I don't know. There were things that say to you, yeah, this is an attempt to represent the vision of the particular artist. But what do you think about the point that Emmanuel just made about the so-called headless fella?
I just believe that even in death, fella remains controversial. Because that's what the statement is supposed to be, even in death.
You could take it like that, right?
Yes, and you know, the Yorubas call him Abami. Do you even see the face of an Abami? So it could be the artist's just way of expressing those thoughts that I just said to you now.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, he had done the artwork. If you even reject it, he's still going to keep it because it's an artwork that he has created. Okay. So if you don't see it on that roundabout, you might likely see it somewhere else. So why don't you just take it as this weird one, the Abami?
Okay. Prince is calling in from Italy. Good morning, Prince.
Yeah, good morning to you, Uncle Yori, and to your guest.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir.
Yeah, let me quickly go straight to the point. We see what happened yesterday at the Shrine. It was a very great thing to the Fela family. We thank God for that. And there is something I want to say, Uncle Yori. We should try to start value our own thing. Somebody come all the way from Europe to come and honor Fela's family. As your guest right said there, how many prominent men have ever visited the Shrine? They think that place is an evil place. But Fela stood for the right of the vulnerable ones. But today, what are they doing with our resources? Those are supposed to give those things to the poorest people there. Please, this is a good message to every one of us.
Indeed.
That we should try to protect our own. It is a shame somebody comes all the way from Europe to come and honor this man.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I believe that the governor of today, Governor Ambode, kudos to Governor Ambode for what Femi has said.
Thank you very much for calling in. Thank you. Appreciate your call. You know, there's a sense in which, I can understand it when people say President Macron has come, he visited the New Africa Shrine, he's honored the Kuti family. Yeah, all of that is indeed so. But by extension, there's a way you could see it as honoring what Fela stood for. Exactly. The very people that Fela stood for. The downtrodden, the ordinary guy, the guy who didn't have a voice, the guy who probably might have wanted to say the things that Fela was saying but didn't dare. And Fela was saying that all those things, was putting them in his music, and it cost him dearly. Beyond, without excluding the Fela Anikulapo family, there's a sense in which President Macron was also paying homage to those that Fela related with the most. He certainly was at odds with authority and leadership, especially their ways of going about things. Look at how he parodied democracy to them all of them crazy. Them all of them crazy, them crazy. He parodied democracy. So there was a sense in which President Macron, being a man, of no doubt of the arts as well, was also identifying with the Fela crowd, which goes way beyond the Fela Anikulapo family. Would you agree?
Yes, of course. Yes. You could see that, even like Femi said now, the man said he had been to the shrine, and the energy that he enjoyed at that shrine back in the days.
Yes.
He wanted
Femi was saying that he had to be about 23 then.
Yes, he had to repeat it. So all of those European or foreigners that come to shrine, so they feel the shrine has become a place now. That's my appeal.
Malam, sorry,
yes.
You're a researcher.
Yes.
This point you just made, President Macron visiting France, visiting the New Africa Shrine, That's not the first expatriate that has visited the shrine, no?
No.
You
but
guys,
the first president.
The first president.
Yes.
But you see expatriates come through there, right?
Every day.
There you go.
Every day. Every day. Once people step into this country, whether they are musicians or not, the first place they want to come to is either shrine or fellas as Kalakuta.
Yes.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Those ambassadors that you saw at the show yesterday, that wasn't their first time.
Okay.
We received them. I remember the American ambassador is called Consul General, right? The day he was appointed and brought to Nigeria, the following Sunday, he came to the shrine.
Okay.
And he said to Femi that the outgoing ambassador had told him that this is the first place to visit.
Just keep the link.
Yes.
Keep the link alive. Yakub in Dokwemu, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling.
And good morning to your guys.
Good morning.
For me, I give kudos to Lagos State government and then the Fela Anikulapo Kuti family. I believe Fela Anikulapo Kuti has left a legacy to us to let. Usually, I always listen to Fela music and Dr. Barista.
Okay.
Because
Sikiru Ayinde Barrister.
Ayinde Barrister, yes, those are the two people I listen to in my car, in my home. And then the Babalegbas. I don't listen to all
Yusuf Olatunji?
Yes, the
Okay.
Babalegbas, all those olden days lyrics.
Okay, Sakara music.
Yes, the reason is that when you are listening to those people, usually you will see a message passing to you because their music will tell you what is happening then and presently. Security, I wish Fela is alive today. Fela Club uses his lyrics and song and music to send a message to government, to send a message to House of Representatives and Senate. And then they will be forced to do the right thing. Because Fela is not just a singer, it is activist. Because when he sends a strong message to you, you will force to do the right thing, whether you like it or not. The worst thing you would do is to go and pick him up, lock him up, and then at the end of the day, you will force to release him.
Indeed.
And then immediately he left the prison or whatever you kept him at, he will still release another lyrics to you. So
Yeah.
that you know that you are doing the wrong thing. That's why the man keep coming after you.
All right,
God
then.
bless Fela Anikulapo. Thank you and God bless you all.
Indeed, thank you very much. And this reminds me, the activism of the man reminds me of Fela's brother, Dr. Beko, Ransom Kuti,
yes.
you know, of blessed memory now.
Yes.
He also was an activist. He was a medical doctor, an activist. He was close to his brother, you know,
They were
very
close,
close.
the three of them.
All of them
All
were
of them
close,
were close.
including the professor. You know.
Yes.
So the family has kept this all alive, you know, and this is where it's kudos to the children, because if the children hadn't kept it all alive, there wouldn't be the space to move into now and say, you know what your father started and you guys are continuing admirably, you know, I sort of identify with it and I'm encouraging you. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guests there.
Good morning, George.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, guys, I listened to the French president, some of the statements he made last night.
Yes.
And one great lesson that I picked from there is that whether you are appreciated or not by your people, whenever you stand for what is ideal, just forge on. Don't look at popularity. That is what played out yesterday night. That young man you saw is one of the 5 people that takes decisions at the Security Council that determines where the world goes today. And he considered it necessary to come to the shrine to make the statements he made. For me, that's fundamental. And it is enough for anybody that wants to learn a lesson to pick so many things. What I would like to recommend is what Fela's children are already doing. They tried to keep the legacy, you know, of their father. They should also try to pass it on to their own children as they go, so that it becomes a legacy of the family that is unending. So many other families will draw lessons from it.
Indeed.
The government, somebody has said that the president who was in power when the shrine was destroyed should apologize.
Somebody recommended that. I'm also recommending that. It is not all about power.
That was President Obasanjo.
Yes.
You know, and Fela put a track out to the unknown soldier, right?
Yes.
It was about that.
Yes, so he should, the soldier is not, we know that somebody is commanding the soldiers. So he was the commander-in-chief then, and there's no mysterious soldier in the army that pulled the shrine down. He should apologize to the family of Fela publicly. That will not take anything away from him. If anything, it would add value to his credibility. Indeed. That's my recommendation. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George.
Like Mr. George said just now, he mentioned what Macron said as president.
Yes, consistency.
Consistency.
Just for John.
For John. That reminds me of what Fela told us back in the days when we were in university, and I stayed in his house like a year when I was in Unilag. And he used to tell us, he said, look, whatever you do in life, do it to perfection. He said, if they don't recognize you while you are alive, when you are dead and gone, they will come for you in your graves. The whole world has gone for him in his grave now.
Okay. So,
well, I have an important message for this country. They should take a very good leaf from President Macron and cool down.
I think in the words of Lagwaja, kulu temper.
Yes, and cool down.
Kulu temper.
Music can do a lot.
It's well known.
In this country, in the world.
It's a well-known fact.
If they put a very good love into music, there'll be no fight like they are doing in the National Assembly, throwing chairs and stuff like that.
Maybe even Benue, killings in
there'll
Plateau.
Be less killings. There'll be less killings.
You know, yeah.
If they can put a little into music, it will help us a lot. Not only what President Macron did yesterday. There are other kinds of music that they should try to encourage.
Okay, we've got to leave it here.
Yes.
But I'm sorry about that. We got to leave it here, but I want to thank you profusely for coming on, and also thank Femi and Yeni that called in from, from home. Yes. And we started off with the patriarch himself, the music of Fela Nicola Kukudi. I think fittingly we should end now with the music of Femi Kuti. That's our program today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition from 10:30 in the morning. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.